All right, guys. It's Bill, Ghost Runner 69. We're gonna put together some wheel and tire and foam combos today. Got our Super Shafty Osprey V1 in gold. Got our new Pitbull Braven Ironside 4.19s. It's a 419 by 135 by 19 tire. And I got my Crazy Crawler FT Pro foams. And this is a little different. So these are sliced top to bottom versus your standard circular foam, and then they're also star cut. Each pack, you can get them in, the pros come in medium and soft, I believe. And there's so many different versions of these foams from Crazy Crawlers for any combination tire you have, any size tire you have, from 355 smaller to over 575 tires. So these are actually going to be rear tires, but you can see each foam pack comes with I want to say 12 foams, 2 of the smaller size, or 4 of the small, 4 of the smaller size, 4 of the thicker size, and then 4 of the closed cell foams. These are going to happen to be rear tires for my C1. So we are going to stack these foams like this. Typically, this tire is designed to be stacked like this, with soft, firm, soft, and it's going to give you a ton of side hill capabilities and that little soft grabbability of that tire as you get it up over an edge. Because these are rears and I want a little bit more stiffness in the rear, because we all like a rear that's stiff, we're going to build this like this. So this is much like an Oreo. So the first thing I do is get that one closed cell foam in there. Real simple. Put my thumb in it and work it around from the top from one side, same thing from the other. And then just what I'm doing there is trying to make sure each one of those edges on that star cut is smooth in there. We're going to put in the middles, and I'm basically going to do the same thing on both sides of that tire, make sure it's in there. These are really easy to put in. I'm going to get those edges to make sure they're smoothed out and not bent over or folded back against the other foam that's in there. I'm going to do the same thing again on this side. And basically I'm just circling that tire a couple times in my hand. Now we're going to push it back to the other side. Okay, and you can kind of see in there, I think, got the firm one on the bottom and the soft one in the middle, and then we're going to put another firm one on top. Just kind of shove it in there. These are really easy to work with foams. Run them across all my platforms, even in my trail trucks. So I'm going to do the same thing one more time on each side of the tire. Just got my thumb in there, and I'm just making sure that the tire is set well against the foam and that the foam doesn't have any edges. And I'm going to do it one more time on this side. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that tire, I'm going to put it in my hand, and I'm going to squeeze it. You can kind of hear the air come in and out of it there. And what I'm doing with that is, see how I kind of suck those sides in? That's just a personal preference, something I do. You don't have to do them, but that foam has now kind of sucked up against the edge of that tire. I've already got my Osprey Super Shafties apart. I've got the bolts out of them. So we're just going to take this ring, and again, I'm stretching a 419 tire over a 2.2 ring. So getting it in there takes a little bit of work. Not always easy. But for me, I like the little bit of advantage that gives me in that taller tire wheel combo in class 1. And then I'm just going to work that ring in there until, that was Pam sneezing. I don't know if you guys heard that or not. But I'm just going to work that foam, same thing, with my thumb inside, and I'm squeezing, pushing that closed cell foam. It's a little more difficult when the closed cell is on the outside versus the open cell, or the little bit of softer one. It's much easier to do. And you can see a couple places that little closed cell will give you some feedback there. But ultimately, that's where you're going, is you want that closed cell up on the outside of that ring. And you can kind of already see the difference that it's making in that tire. It's making it a little taller, a little stretchier. Sometimes that can be an advantage. Sometimes it can be not an advantage. That's up to you and your driving style. A lot of guys still run the 1.9s wheels, and that's perfectly fine. It's the beauty of this sport, is it's all personal preference. All right, so I'm ready for, and these are not directional tires, so I don't have to pay attention to which way the tread's going. You know, the Braven, the Pitbull Braven Ironside, really like the tire. It's kind of like, if I had to compare it to something, I would compare it to a cut PBX. It's just got a little, it's got some of those through pieces cut out. It's got a lot more side lug on it. So the top is in, it's just that easy, or the face of the wheel, if you will. I'm going to try to line my bolt patterns up in there. If you guys can see those bolt patterns, I'm just going to try to line them up in there. And this is my first time doing one of these videos here. I'm just using my phone, so we'll see if this actually turns out without too many stresses in here in editing. But we're just going to line those up. And then what I want to do is I want to squeeze that down in the same time that I kind of pull that tire out, because it's sticky and it's going to stick up on that wheel back. I don't know what the official technical name of that is, but on the back face of that wheel, it's going to stick to it, and then it's going to do the same thing in the front. So I just want to kind of pull it and get that lip out there. I hope you guys can see what I'm doing there. Just kind of get that lip. And I don't, with these particular tires and wheels, the Ospreys are super easy to mount. Using the crazy crawler foams, I don't always have to use a tool. I do have a tool to help squeeze that wheel together, but that's hard. That's already right together right there. You can see a little bit of gap in there, and that's no tool. That's just me working that foam with my thumb and getting it set in there. So I'm going to start 2 bolts, and I'm going to start them here in opposite things, just for a couple of threads. Nothing, I'm not pinching anything down heavy, but I'm going to start them on opposite sides of that Super Shafty Osprey wheel. So I just have them in there. You can still see there's a pretty decent gap in there, and I'm going to go back around the edge of that tire one more time. And what I'm doing now is, you can see in there, hopefully you can kind of see that rim edge. I'm just pulling that rim edge out where it helps that back face of the wheel set down in there where it's supposed to be. So when I get done that on the front and the back, that wheel, beadlock wheel, is going to sit nice and snug against that. And then from that point, you can see that it's pretty balanced in there. There's no spots where the wheel or the tire is sticking out anymore. I'm going to tighten it down just another turn or two in those 2 that I have in there. And then I'm just going to start putting the additional bolts in that wheel. I do a cross pattern when I'm installing them, kind of basically like I was taught mounting tires and wheels and stuff back on cars when I was younger. You use that kind of, go from here to 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 here. star pattern, I guess is what you call it. I don't remember. It was a long time ago. If there's any particular technical phrase for that, forgive me. I don't know what it is. Let's see, I think I got one more here, two more. And I'm just putting them in there and snugging them down. And then I'm going to do, whoops, I'm going to do the final tuning here in just 1 second. All right, so they're all snugged in. I'm going to go back around my outside one more time on both the front and the rear of the tire. And there you can see I've got a little space where that bead didn't quite come out. So I'm just going to fold that tire down to make sure that that little bead location comes out. That way the tire sits in there in the way these rims are designed. It sits in there. A little more closed cell foam there. I pinched off a piece. Looks like the front was pretty good. So now that I've got the front and the rear kind of on the same page there, I'm just going to go in. And again, now I'm just going right around the rim because it's tightening there. And then we're just tracing the rim right around. I don't use any Loctite on these rims. If I have a bolt come back out after the fact, then I'll put a little bead of blue Loctite on it. Do not use red. You won't get them off. You'll end up ruining your wheels and potentially your tires. But just a little tiny pin drop of blue if you have a bolt that backs out. I give them all a little twist all the way around one time. And the Super Shafty Osprey rims come with variations. You can get them with a aluminum center ring. You can get them with a brass center ring. But there you go. There's that tire mounted up in under about 12 minutes. So not bad. Not everybody has to do them that way. That's my way of doing it, especially, like I said, with the Crazy Crawler, the Osprey, and the Braven Pitbull tires. It's probably one of the easiest tire foam combinations I have ever mounted. And I've mounted a few, but I love it. So hope you guys enjoyed. Maybe it'll help you, maybe it won't. And we'll talk to you later.